Hiya everyone, I'm Jamie, and today I want to do a Dead by Daylight discussion video again, but this time it is to mainly rank the perk changes that the devs have announced in their developer update for June 2022. Now, my last discussion video, I looked at the perks they said they were going to change, and I suggested changes for them, and I actually got a few of these right, and I'm very pleased with myself, but mainly what I want to do is just discuss these in a bit of a different way than other people have been doing it. A lot of people have just been reading the developer update and talking about it, and I thought it might be interesting to just, put them in a tier list as well. So I'm just going to be ranking the perks that they've changed. So we're going to go from perfect change to good change, okay change, bad change, and just fucking why, man? Just why? Just why you do this thing? Why you do this thing? And we've got all the perks that they've changed here, just all here. But first, I want to just quickly go through the earlier parts of the developer update, like really fucking quickly, because this video isn't really about this. But overhauled progression system, love it, love it. You get somebody to tier 3, to prestige tier 3, you unlock their tier 3 perks on everybody. Just in their inventory, ready to use. Perfect, solid, love it. Yeah, that's that. No more resets. Excellent. Perfect. Love it. Expanded prestige. Getting the bloody cosmetics on level 4, 5, and 6, and then getting like their perks as charms on 7, 8, and 9. Love it. Solid. I have absolutely no comment. It's just amazing. The change to the Shrine of Secrets, where you just buy a perk and everyone gets it. Awesome. I love all of this. I love all of this. People who already have the prestiged bloody clothes won't lose them. They'll actually get an extra charm to say that they did it before the change. Just solid. Absolutely solid. Matchmaking incentives, because obviously it's a 4v1 game, so you need 4 survivors for every 1 killer, and sometimes you don't get that. So they're going to add an incentive to play the underplayed side, and a lot of the times that's gonna be killer. Just it's just the way it's gonna be. So a lot of the time you're gonna get 100% Bloodpoint bonus for playing killer, because that's just the way it's gonna be. It's gonna be killer a lot of the time. Sometimes it'll be survivor, but most of the time it's gonna be killer. Let's face it. What else we got? We got the gameplay updates. This is leading into the perk changes, which we're going to be discussing in the majority of this video. But they have made some other changes that I just want to go over quickly first. Like, they've upped the generator repair time to 90 seconds, up from 80. I think this is a fairly nice change. I didn't really want them to touch gen speeds, but they've done it. It's fine. It's not by much. An extra 10 seconds could be the difference between, getting a generator done and the killer interrupting it. And it is fairly sizable chunk when you add together all 5 generators, but I don't think it'll make too much of a difference. It'll just make the games last a little bit longer, which is objectively a good thing, because sometimes games fly like lightning. What else we got? We got kicking a generator will now remove 2.5% of the maximum progress. It's nice. It's nice. It's still not much, but it's nice. Yeah, no real problems with that. That seems fine. It's still really not going to make kicking gens worthwhile, in my opinion. I still probably won't do it unless I've got a perk dedicated to it. But, once we get down to the perks, you'll see that they have made some nice perks for kicking generators, and they've left some mostly intact. And yeah, just a little teaser for the rest of the video, don't mind me. We've reduced the time it takes to break pallets and walls by 10%, so everybody gets like half of brutal strength just by default. I wonder if, because like in the list of perks they haven't touched brutal strength, so this combined with brutal strength, you'll kick pallets and walls and gens actually 30% faster. Like, that's significant. And I'd fire up to that as well. Like, the pallet might as well not even be there. Just freaking walk through the thing. But yeah, that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun time. I don't think it'll make that much of a difference, really. It'd be nice. It's like a lot of these changes. They're just nice. They're just nice. They're just a nice change. We've reduced the cooldown for basic attacks, so everyone gets 2 stacks of Save the Best for Last by default. That'll reduce the whole W meta, and the speed boost has been reduced by 10% as well to 1.8 seconds instead of 2. Again, just nice, just reduces the whole W meta while still giving survivors a chance to get to a safe loop after getting hit. You know, just makes everything a little bit quicker. And yeah, just a nice change. I'm a bit apprehensive about this. I don't think really Bloodlust needed a buff, but alright. Yeah, Bloodlust tiers now activate a bit quicker, apart from 1. 1 will activate at exactly the same time it used to, 2 will activate 5 seconds earlier, and 3 will activate 10 seconds earlier. Ultimately, if a survivor is running you on a chase long enough to get you to tier 3, then you've basically lost that chase already, so I guess it's not that much of a big deal. But it's still a bit of a weird change to decide to buff Bloodlust, alright? Yeah, I suppose this is important just before we get into the perks. They've made a weaker version of Borrowed Time base kit, which I think is an amazing decision. I can't think of a better decision to be made, to be honest. So moving forward, survivors will receive a 5-second endurance effect after being unhooked. This gives survivors the opportunity to get to a safe area after being unhooked. And also they have a 7% haste effect for 5 seconds. So even if the killer wants to, you know, follow them and, you know, wait out the 5-second endurance, the killer will also be 7% faster. So if, you know, you're a trickster or a huntress or whatever, you know, if you want to follow them and wait out their endurance, you're going to be following them for a long-ass time because they're going to be almost as fast as you. And if they have, you know, other perks that increase their speed as well, they're going to be fucking gone, man. Like, you know, when a survivor gets off the hook and they have sprint burst, and they're going to have this as well, Jesus Christ, I'm going to be zooming. So you don't really, yeah, it encourages you to go after the unhooking survivor. I mean, that's good. That's good. Reducing tunneling, that's good. Good. It won't be as much of a viable strategy anymore. They've weakened it. I think that's good. I think that's a good thing. Right, meta perk changes. Let's get on to the meat of the video because I've already been going for 8 minutes and we haven't got into the meat of the video yet. So, starting with the first perk on the list, barbecue and chili. So, essentially what they've done to barbecue and chili, you can read this if you want, I'm not going to read it all out, but essentially they feel that their changes to the progression system and the way you unlock perks have done enough to reduce the grind, and they are removing the Bloodpoint part of barbecue and chili. So now it will be a solely order reading perk. It will reveal survivors when they're 40 meters or more away from the hook after you unhook somebody. I think this is a good change. People may disagree with me on that one. I think it's a good change because ultimately I'm happy with how much they're reducing the grind with the progression system. I love the new prestige system. I love the new way you unlock perks. And I think that removing the Bloodpoint part of barbecue and chili will, you know, reduce its usage. And while that's not a good thing particularly on its own, like, I know me. And regardless of how much they reduce the grind, I will still run this perk if they left the Bloodpoint part intact. I would run this perk forever because I am a hoarder. I love Bloodpoints. I love collecting Bloodpoints. I love hoarding them. And ultimately, getting rid of the Bloodpoint part of this will make me run it less. And ultimately, I'm happy with that because I would run this perk on every killer, every time, forever. Like, regardless of if I never saw an aura ever. So ultimately, I'm glad with it. I'm glad this is happening because it'll make me run something else. So I'm happy with that. I'm good. I'm good with that. I think it's a good change. It's not perfect because it will, you know, mean fewer blood points, but you know that's fine. Okay, so what have we got next? We got Hex Ruin. Where is this in the list? I just downloaded all these images, you know, off this website, so it should be there. Am I blind? Am I blind? Oh, I am blind. It's there. Okay. I should have really put these in order before I started the video, but if it wasn't scuffed, would it be a Jamie is Strange video? Okay. So, Hex Ruin. What they've done is they have taken it and they have torn it to bits. In my opinion, they have ruined Ruin, which, honestly, I'm fine with. I'm good with it. I'm fine with it. This perk was insanely powerful, and ultimately I'm fine with it getting gutted, because people might use something else. But if we just look at it solely at its own merits, it now regresses the generator 100% when it's not being worked on, down from 200%, and after a survivor is killed, Hex Ruin will automatically deactivate. So there was a meme that I can't remember who it was. Some dev said that when they changed Ruin, that it would now be an endgame perk, that it would be good for as an endgame perk. I can't remember. Don't quote me. It's all alleged. But I remember somebody saying that the Ruin would be an endgame perk. They have now made it absolutely not an endgame perk. It never was, because it's a hex totem. It gets broken in the first 2 seconds of the game. But now it definitely isn't. After a survivor is killed, it's gone. Ruin is a purely early game perk, and as is, it will probably be pretty weak now, because 100% regression is not much at all. 100% regression is just not much at all. Ultimately, I don't think this should be a hex perk anymore. Ultimately, I don't think this new Ruin is strong enough to be a hex perk. The fact that it deletes itself after a survivor is dead anyway, I don't think this deserves to be a hex perk anymore. It's not strong enough. It's not going to do enough before it gets broken to even warrant it existing. I'm going to say that this has not been changed enough, and I'm going to say it's a bad change, because I was dancing on okay change, but ultimately I don't think this is strong enough to be a hex perk anymore. I don't think it's strong enough to be a hex perk anymore. Granted, not having to kick gens is nice, but that's all it does now. That's all it does, and I don't think that's strong enough to be a hex. So I would say it's a bad change based on how much they've weakened it, but a good change based on how it will change the meta. Ultimately, I think this is an amazing patch because it will shake up the meta. It will shake up the meta. It just will. So that's good. Pop Goes the Weasel has been nerfed by 5%. It will remove 20% of the generator as current, not total progress. So it will... if a gen's been done by 50%, it will remove 20% of the 50%, not 20% flat. I think this is a good change. I think that Pop Goes the Weasel was insanely powerful, and ultimately this might, incentivize some players to run something else, and I think that, with the boost to generator speeds, with the boost to generator, how long it takes to do a generator, I think that it was a good idea to nerf this as well. Gens are going to take longer anyway, so it's a good idea to nerf this. So I'm going to put it in the good change part, because ultimately, I think it's good. There's very little to say about Pop Goes the Weasel change. It's just a good change. Corrupt Intervention. I am also going to say this is a good change, because it will now, just give the early game pressure that it needs to give, because now. Once a survivor gets downed, it will deactivate. There won't be any, 3 people have already gone down and Corrupt is still active, blocking almost half the gens. That's not going to happen. It's just going to slow down the game at the start of the game, and I think that is good. I put it in good change rather than perfect, because ultimately I think they could have just made this base kit, but, it's a good change. It's a good change. Tinkerer. Okay, I think this is going to be our first perfect change. I love what they've done with this absolute pain in the ass. So, oh my god, I'm so fucking blind. It's taken me so long to find these perks in the list. Fuck me. I'm just going to talk about the perk while I try and find it in this list. I'm such a fucking bat. Okay, there it is. Right. So, Tinkerer. It's been nerfed somewhat. So basically, when you get 70% on a generator, Tinkerer will activate. It will give all the same effects it did before. It will give the loud noise notification. The killer will become undetectable, and it will, do exactly the same as it did before. But it will only do it once per generator. Once per generator, kind of like Merciless Storm. So this is excellent, because how annoying was it when you get a gen 70%, killer comes, regresses it with Ruin or Pop or whatever, it gets 70% again, here they come again. If it's a Blight or Nurse, they're on your ass in 42.7 milliseconds. You know, it was a nightmare. This only activating once per generator is the first perfect change. Perfect. I know my suggestion was a lot more elaborate. Also, it hasn't got a name change. Why was it on top of the alphabetical list? T isn't at the start of the alphabet. But yeah, that's what's happening there. I think that's a perfect change. Tinkerer will still be strong while not being oppressive. I think that's good. Right, Hex. No one escapes death. Right, Noed. What have they done? I'm just going to get that there as well, because that's the next one. Save some time. But yeah, Noed. So what they've done to it is it'll work exactly the same as it did before. However, when it activates, the totem's aura within 4 meters upon activation will be shown to survivors. Wait, I'm stupid. Survivors will now see the Hex totem's aura within 4 meters upon activation. This range increases to 24 meters over the course of 30 seconds. So basically, when the totem's lit at the end game, if survivors were within 4 meters of it, they'll see it. They'll see the aura of it. And over 30 seconds, this will increase to 24 meters. So it will be a lot easier to find and a lot easier to destroy. This will incentivize survivors to stay in the trial rather than just leaving, because Noed will be a lot easier to find. Ultimately, I'm going to say this is okay. This is, you know, it's alright. It's an alright change. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's just, you know, it's alright. Survivors seeing the aura of the totem, that's cool. I don't mind that. I think it's okay. Ultimately, I would have preferred it if they'd made it a token system, or, you know, like what I suggested, where it's a perk that boosts other endgame perks, kind of like open-handed, but for killer. Ultimately, I'm fine with this. It's alright. I think people will still hate Noed. I think people will still complain about it. But ultimately, I think this is fine. This is okay. This, perfect. Fucking love it. This is an amazing change. It keeps Scourge Hook Pain Resonance strength while taking away some of its most annoying aspects. So basically what they've done to it is, when you hook a survivor on a Scourge Hook, the generator with the most progress will spark and lose the amount of regression that Pain Resonance gives it. But there will be no loud noise notification. The killer will not know which gen it's hit. It will not explode, it will spark, and the survivors will no longer scream. So this has lost its synergy with the perks that made it annoying. So it has lost its synergy with Dead Man Switch, because the killer now does not know which generator to go to kick survivors off it. They will not scream, which will not kick survivors off. You know, they won't have the Pain Resonance Dead Man Switch combo, which was really easy to counter by just getting off the gen, but, you know, it's still annoying. And it no longer has synergy with Pop Goes the Weasel, because, well, it kind of does, but the killer won't know exactly where to go to, you know, stop this, to kick it with Pop and give it even more aggression. So, ultimately, perfect change. I love what they've done with Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. They've kept its strength while removing its annoying aspects. Love it. Couldn't ask for more. Right, Dead Hard. This is the perk that everybody wanted to see nerfed. It's been requested for a while. Let's see what they did with it. So, now Dead Hard will provide the endurance effect for 1 second when activated. If you time it right, you'll prevent the hit, gain a movement speed boost. I'm not sure if they will make you have to mend after this, or if it'll be like Metal of Man and you won't have to mend after this. Unsure. I'm guessing it's just because it's endurance, but then again, Borrowed Time always gave you endurance, and you have to mend after that. Not sure, but you'll gain movement speed. You'll be able to get the hell out of there. So what it will remove is Dead Harding for distance, and use it to solely dodge hits. Awesome. I like this change. I think, is it good or perfect? That's the question. Is it good? Is it a good change, or is it a perfect change? It's good. It's good. It's a good change. I think it's good. It's not perfect, but it's still it's a good change. It's a good change. Is it perfect? I don't know. But it still could create that really annoying moment when, you know, you've been looping a survivor forever and they're just about to get to a pallet, they hit the activation button, and they're immortal for a second while they get to the pallet and drop it. So there's no more dead harding for distance, which means they'll have to be a bit more careful with it. They'll have to do it a bit earlier, but ultimately it could be used the same way to extend a chase that, you know, has no right to be extended. But they have made it clear that dead harding will have to be done at precisely the right moment because it's only a second, and also the killer will know when the survivor has dead harded. They will have an animation, they will know when it's happened. So ultimately I think it's a good change but not perfect, because it still could be used in a really greedy, you know, way that, you know, like people always said, it's like, what's the problem with dead hard? You know, you dead hard to a window, you get another few seconds in the chase. It's like, no, you don't. You dead hard to a pallet or window, and, you know, the killer has to, like, do all the mind gaming stuff again. They have to catch up again. It can add, you know, 20 seconds onto a chase that should have been over. Like, that was the strength of dead hard, and I'm not sure if that strength has been removed entirely. But I think it is a good change. I think it is a good change for dead hard to, you know, be an endurance effect rather than a dash forward. I kind of think I've had this idea, right? It doesn't give you a dash forward anymore. So part of me thinks it shouldn't be an exhaustion perk anymore. Now, calm. I think it shouldn't be an exhaustion perk anymore, because if it's not an exhaustion perk anymore, then you can balance it differently. Like, you can give it a hefty cooldown, you can give it tokens, you know, you can make it activate only when you do a certain thing. You know, I think if you remove it from the exhaustion perk pool, you can balance it differently. You don't have to give it the 40-second cooldown while walking. You can give it something else. And I think that would be a good way to balance dead hard. Because even with this, it'll still be probably the best exhaustion perk. I don't see, you know, I guess Sprint Burst is the only one that comes close to it. But even Sprint Burst, I don't think is as strong as this perk. That immortality for a second could be so good. And yeah, I think it's a good change, but I don't think it's perfect. I think they could have done more. Okay, Decisive Strike. And also, I just want to clarify that, you know, me saying they could have gone further with Dead Hard, like, I just want to be clear, because people think that, you know, me saying that's like, oh, entitled killer main. I'm a survivor main. Like, I play both, but I am a survivor main. I do main survivor. I play way more survivor than I do killer. Just to clarify, I wouldn't say, you know, that I am a survivor main, I mean, I just said it, but, like, you know, I'm closer to a survivor main than I am a killer main. And I still think Dead Hard's bullshit. Doesn't stop me using it all the time, though, because, you know, if you're going to give me something overpowered, you know, I'm going to fucking use it, mate. Which is why I'm kind of glad that they've taken that out of my hands. But, right, Decisive Strike. What they've done to it is amazing. I think this is perfect. I couldn't wish for a better change for this perk. Whatever. Moving forward, Decisive Strike will now deactivate once the exit gates are powered. Thank God. Because the most annoying thing about this perk was a survivor being hooked at the end game, the gates are open, they get unhooked, they have borrowed time, you can't stop them, they're immortal. Like, you pick them up, they DS you, they're out. Immortality. It was absolute bullshit. So I'm so glad that's gone. And in addition, the stun duration has been reduced from 5 to 3 seconds. Fair. I think that's fair. It was always weird that this was the only thing that gave you a 5-second stun. Like, I think 3 seconds is fine with the addition of, you know, the the base kit borrowed time. I think this is good. And now it will be, because they've changed it, so it'll be cancelled by conspicuous actions, of which opening the exit gates is one of them. And this perk never used to deactivate when opening an exit gate. You could, get Decisive Strike, you could go to a gate, you could sit on it, you could open it most of the way, and, the killer couldn't do shit other than just leaving you there and slugging you, because for some reason it wasn't cancelled by opening an exit gate. Now it is. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, Borrowed Time. Heck yeah! Borrowed Time is now base kit. Well, a weaker version of it, but still. And then what they've done with it is make it boost its base kit version. It will extend the duration of the endurance effect and of the movement speed bonus. So, hell yeah. I have nothing else to say about that. Just, yeah, that's exactly what it should do. It should be made base kit, and it boost its previous effect now that it's base kit. Heck yeah. Right. This one's a weird one. This one is a very weird one. I'm not quite sure. I don't know what they've done. I don't know where they quite thought they were doing here. Okay, so what they've done to Winewell is they've reduced its effect, so it now only reduces grunts of pain by 75%, and it will no longer activate when exhausted. It will not cause exhaustion itself, but it won't activate when exhausted. I think this is overkill. Either reduce its effect to 75%, or make it only activate when exhausted. Both makes this perk sort of useless. Like, don't get me wrong, Iron Will was strong as fuck. Iron Will was insanely powerful. This perk was mental. But now, it's borderline useless. And I've seen, people in my Discord have said that they use this perk because of their, ADHD, autism, where, too many sounds can cause overstimulation and make the game virtually unplayable, and they use this to reduce the amount of noise on in the game, so they could actually play the game without, it causing anguish. So I kind of disagree with this one. I'm going to say that it's a bad change. I'm not going to say why, because I'm not going to put it in the why bracket, because I don't really... I know why they nerfed this perk, because it's insanely strong, but I think they went too far. With it. They gutted this perk beyond all usage. I mean, you could get some use out of the 75%. It could confuse some killers, but ultimately, when does this have most effect? In chase. So it has no synergy with sprint burst, it has no synergy with lithe, it has no synergy with balanced landing, it has very little synergy with dead hard. It's really, it's not great. I think they went overkill there. Oh, what did they do to my baby? What did they do to my baby? What did they do to my child? Okay, right. Self-care. Where are you? Where are you in this list? I'm so fucking blind. There we go. Okay, so what they did to self-care. Right. So it used to heal you at 50% of the normal heal rate. Now it only does 35, and the item efficiency bonus has been removed entirely. Right, okay. I am under the view that self-care is a strong perk. I think that having the ability to self-heal wherever, whenever, is amazing. It's a strong perk. So I see why it's on this list. I see why they've decided to nerf it a little bit. But 35%, Jesus Christ, that's gotta be so slow. I think this is one of these ones where they've gone overkill. Either slow it down or remove the item efficiency. I think doing both has kind of just nerfed it a little too far. I'm still going to use it. Don't get me wrong, I'm still going to use the fuck out of this perk. People might fucking hate me for it, but like being able to heal wherever, whenever is so good. It's so good. The only difference is now that it has to be used with botany knowledge. I'll talk about botany knowledge later on, but it has to be used with botany knowledge. Before it was like, you know, an optional extra to make it better. Now it's essential. And I'll talk about that more when I go over there, when I go over to botany knowledge. But right now, I'm going to say it's too far. I'm going to say it's too far. I'm going to say it's a bad change. And also, because like I maintain that self-care is a good perk when used correctly. And too many people use it incorrectly. So I'm going to say it's a bad change because it needs to be used correctly and so many people use it incorrectly. And now it's even slower. Jesus Christ. Okay, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. I scrolled the wrong window. There we go. Okay, Spine Chill. RIP Vault Build. Vault Build is dead. Vault Build is no longer a thing in the game. It doesn't exist anymore. Vault Build is now just Resilience because they have removed the Vault Speed bonus entirely from Spine Chill. Right, so what they've done to Spine Chill. It will only activate if the killer has a clear line of sight to the survivor, so it won't work through walls. Spine Chill will not work through walls. This will remove the awkward counterplay where the killer has to look away to ensure a stealthy approach, which I think is good, but it also makes Spine Chill virtually useless because not only will you see the killer anyway, like, if the killer has a clear line of sight of you, then you have a clear line of sight of them. Like, you know that the killer is coming. You don't need Spine Chill. You just have to look around. And also, there's a lingering effect to Spine Chill, which will prevent the perk from flickering when a killer looks around and makes the action speed bonus more consistent. The only problem is, the killer has to see you. The killer has to see you. So if you're doing anything that you need the speed bonus for, like, the killer's just going to stop you doing it. If you're on a gen, if you're healing, the killer sees you, they're going to stop you. And the only real benefit of the killer seeing you, for it to happen was the vault speed bonus, and that's gone. So I'm just going to say why. Like, I don't know what they were really doing about this. Like, it was never an amazing perk. It was good. It was good. Don't get me wrong. Spine Chill was really good. Like, the killer sees you, you hold W into the fucking center of Narnia, and they can't get you. But they gutted it. They've made it entirely irrelevant. They've completely ruined it. It's dead. It has no use anymore. It doesn't have a use of a perk. Like, it doesn't do anything for you. The most it can do is let you rush a generator in a killer's face. But you could do that anyway. I don't know. I don't understand the Spine Chill change at all. Right. So, we're out of the nerfs. This is the buffs now. Have I put way too many perks in this list? Are there perks that... No, wait. Yeah, this one isn't on the list. I don't know why this is here. People probably saw that before. I don't know why this is here. I'm not quite sure. There might be another one that shouldn't be there as well, but who knows. Probably that one as well. I don't know why these perks are here. These perks haven't been changed. Ignore these perks. I'm going to stick them at the bottom here. These haven't been changed. Ignore them. This one has. These two haven't. Okay. Right. Overcharge. That's not Overcharge. Overcharge. So, when I was at the start, I was saying they made some nice perks for kicking gens. This is one of them. So, Overcharge. It will cause the kick generator's regression speed to grow from 100 to 400% over the course of 30 seconds. So, if survivors don't get on this right the fuck away and hit that really difficult skill check to stop this regression, this generator is gonna go back to 0. 400% regression is huge. This perk just became viable. In my view, this perk just became viable. Like, 400% over the course of 30 seconds, like, that generator is going to regress faster and faster and faster. If you stay and defend this, it might not be the best choice because you've got to go and defend other gens and get pressure other ways. But if you stand with this generator, you can probably watch it in real time go all the way back to 0 from, like, 99. Like, 400% is huge. So, yeah, I love that change because that will push fucking Overcharge into the meta, which is awesome. Like, I love the idea of the meta being shifted, because honestly, it's been stale for quite a while now. Okay, so Eruption. Where is it? I just saw it. There it is. Okay. Eruption. So basically what they've done with this, nothing too groundbreaking. They have buffed the numbers a little bit. So the generators that you've kicked will regress by 10% when you knock somebody to the floor, and survivors on those generators will be incapacitated for 25 seconds. I think, this is perfect. Like, I think it's fine. Just buff the numbers. Not everything in the perfect category is going to be, completely groundbreaking, Sometimes it's just going to be, yeah, that is a good change for that perk. Right, Knockout. So, Knockout. This is a weird one, because, in addition to its current effect, which is, nothing, it just makes the survivor on the floor have weird sound in their ears and makes it so people can't see them. But yeah, that's what's happening there. But also it will cause dying survivors to crawl 50% slower for 15 seconds and reduce their recovery speed by 25%. This is a slugging perk again. This encourages slugging. This encourages slugging. It's a slugging perk. Twins. This is where this is going. It's a bad change. Yeah, I don't really know why they would make a perk like this. I don't really understand it. It's the recovery speed by 25% speed nerf thing. I don't know. It's just going to incentivize slugging. It's just going to incentivize slugging, and Twins players are going to eat that up, and it's going to be a time. It's going to be a time. I don't like that change at all. Colorophobia. To make healing the killer's terror radius even more unappealing, Colorophobia will now increase the speed of skill checks by 50% on top of its current effect. Meh. It's fine. I'm not really bothered. I'm still not going to use it. I don't think anybody will. But, it's fine. It makes skill checks a bit faster. You're scared. The killer's close. You're healing slowly. You're going to miss skill checks. It makes sense. It makes sense. It's alright. It's not too bad. Dark Devotion, I'd say it's a good change. To Dark Devotion. They've made it so Dark Devotion will now activate whenever the Obsession loses a health state. Seems fair enough to me. So, you're playing Trapper, somebody gets caught in one of your traps, while the Obsession gets caught in one of your traps, they get your terror radius. Probably gives you a better chance to go and get them from the trap that they've got caught in. Because, survivors are going to be scared going near there, because they're not going to want to get you out of the trap right in front of the killer, because you're just going to go down. They're not going to want to go where the killer is. So, I think it's pretty good. You can also use it on Huntress, I guess, to, hit the Obsession with a hatchet. They get your terror radius. They don't get your lullaby, but they do get your terror radius. And now with the lack of spine chill, you could sneak up on a gen with your lullaby, and they wouldn't know you're right on top of you until you are. They'd assume you're like 40 meters away because they can only hear your lullaby. So, it could still work. Be good on Trickster. It'd be good. I think it's a good change. I think it's good. Jolt. They've removed the cooldown. That's all they've done. They've removed the cooldown, and it's chef's kiss. Like, why did that perk have a cooldown in the first place? That's amazing. Okay, so Lethal Pursuer will now extend the duration of all aura reading effects by 2 seconds. So, I'm guessing that means its own as well. So you'll gain 11 seconds of aura reading at the start of the game. You'll gain more from I'm All Ears, from, Undying. I think this is good. I think it's a good change. I think it's good. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I think it's alright. I think it's pretty good. I think it's good. It's a good change. Scourge Hook Gift of Pain will be increasing the action speed penalty to 16%. So when you come off a Scourge Hook that has Gift of Pain afflicted on it, you will be fine until you heal. And then once you heal, you will get an action speed penalty of 16% to everything, basically. I think that's pretty good. I think it's a good change. It makes Scourge Hook Gift of Pain a lot more viable than it used to be, because it's got a lot more of a penalty to it. I think that's fine. I think because you got to bring it in line with its neighbour. Like, Well, I was going to say the only other Scourge hook is Pain Resonance, but not anymore. Not anymore. There's another one. But, you know, I think it brings it in line. I think it brings it in line with every other Scourge hook, and I think that's fine. Thanatophobia. They have buffed it, confusingly. I'm not quite sure why Thanatophobia needed a buff. I would say that it's just as meta as the rest of the perks that they changed. But, you know, fine. They've only buffed it by 2%. You know, when you have 4 stacks, it'll give you a 22% speed bonus to generate a repair and everything like that. So Thanatophobia, I don't know why. I'm not really sure why this perk got buffed, to be honest. I think it was fine in the state that it was in. Like, when I did my perk suggestion changes for these perks, I suggested nerfing it. Because honestly, I thought that's what they were going to do with it. I thought this would be in the nerf camp, but apparently it was in the buff camp. So, you know, I guess just fucking why? It was fine. Okay. Monstrous Shrine. Monstrous Shrine, they've changed it so it is now a Scourge hook. Monstrous Shrine is now a Scourge hook. And what it does is it will convert all basement hooks to Scourge hooks, which I kind of think they should be anyway. And now the Scourge hooks will grant 20% faster entity progression, but only if the killer is not within 24 meters. So you can't camp with it. You can't camp with it. You can't just stick a survivor on a Scourge hook and then stand there. No, Bubba Main, stop salivating. You're not allowed to do it. So I think this is good. I think this is a good change. It gives Monstrous Shrine a little more place in the game, and, you know, makes it a nice perk. You know, people will die faster when they're on hooks. So if you want to, you know, get a survivor in the basement, you put them on a Monstrous Shrine Scourge hook in the basement. They'll die 24 seconds faster. No, they'll die 20% faster as long as you're not in 24 meters of them. I think that's fair. I think that's good. It'll incentivize people to get down to the basement and heal them and get them off the hook super quick. Sorry, I haven't spoken this much in days, and I'm struggling a little bit. But it's fine. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy talking about stuff like this. But I am still recovering from COVID, so apologies if I stumble over my words a bit. Calm Spirit. Fucking why? I don't... Just fucking why with this change? Like, it's not even... It's nothing. Why? Oh, okay. They're calling this a fucking buff as well. Okay, so you can now open chests and cleanse and bless totems silently at 30% reduced speed. Okay, so you basically need a headset, like, ramped up to full volume to hear somebody blessing a totem. I mean, you don't. That's an over-exaggeration. But, it's not a sound that is particularly loud. And you'll risk a 30% reduced speed to do that silently. No. Just why? This garbage. Absolute trash. Saboteur. Right, so now people using Saboteur can identify Scourge hooks. They will be highlighted in yellow when a survivor is carried. Amazing. I think this is perfect for Saboteur. It was one of those changes where I read it and I was like, oh, fucking no shit. Yeah, that should be how Saboteur works. So now you can identify where a killer's Scourge hooks are and try to get rid of them before, you suffer the effects of one of the Scourge hooks. Excellent. You can also see if they have Monstrous Shrine, I guess, by, if the basement hooks are yellow or not. You'll I don't know if you'll be able to, you won't be able to do anything about it because you can't sabotage the basement hooks, but, you'll know, at least. So you'll know that people are going to die 20% faster, and you'll know to get them off super quick. So, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I fucking love it. Right, okay, so back to talking about self-care, because this is botany knowledge. It's botany knowledge time. It's time for botany knowledge. Because botany knowledge has been buffed to 50% healing speed. It gives you a 50% bonus to healing speed. This is outrageous. This is They've done this with one thing in mind. They have done this with one thing in mind, and they haven't thought about it properly. So what they've done is they've taken the efficiency away from self-care, the item efficiency, and they've given it to botany knowledge. And they've reduced the speed of self-care and given it to botany knowledge. They have basically given botany knowledge what they nerfed from self-care. And they have not thought this through. I think what they intend is that self-care and botany knowledge will now be a pair, and that you will have to use them together to effectively heal yourself. But what they've not thought about is botany knowledge being used on its own. Because a 50% healing bonus is outrageous. That is so much healing speed. You pair this with something that doesn't reduce your healing speed, like, I don't know, a green medkit, with speed add-ons or circle of healing, and this is insane. This is absolutely bonkers. I'm going to say it's a bad change, because that is so fast. That is so fast. And, you know, if you want to make it so that this is a pair, just, I don't know, I don't even know how to do this, but, I don't know, not this way. Not this way. Ultimately, leave them the way they are. Leave them the way they are now. They have to be used as a pair anyway if you want to heal yourself at a decent speed. So, you know, just leave them the way they are. I don't know. Yeah. I wouldn't say why, because I can see what they've tried to do. But no. Just absolutely fucking not. Okay. Off the record. This has made people mad. This has made people mad. So... what off the record is becoming is essentially super borrowed time. So think of borrowed time the way it is now, and, you know, feed it Weetabix every day for like 70 years, you know, strengthen it up, you know, feed it Sweeties, and you get new off the record, because it gives unhooked survivors the endurance status effect for 80 seconds. Now, you might say it's okay because it's deleted by conspicuous action, so if they do a generator, heal, open an exit gate, it goes away, it's fine. It's not fine, because you know what's not a conspicuous action? Somebody healing you. That's not a conspicuous action, so you get off the hook, you get somebody to heal you, you now have a health state, you now have 2 health states, and endurance. So, you go in front of somebody the killer's chasing, you take a hit. Kill thinks that's fine, you know, they've taken a hit, that's what survivors do for their friends. But then they come back and they take another hit, and, you know, you're like, what the fuck? And then they dart off with endurance, and you've lost a lot of pressure for free, essentially. The survivors didn't really have to do anything for it, because 80 seconds is outrageous for an endurance status effect. Like, They could literally run over to the other side of the map, heal, come back, and take another hit. It's mental. It's mental. This can very easily be fixed by just making it so being healed gets rid of the endurance effect. That's all they really need. Just make it so that endurance is removed when you return to full health. And this perk is fine. Because ultimately that is just designed to be an anti-tunnel perk. You can't wait out 80 seconds of endurance. You either have to hit them and keep chasing them if you want to tunnel them, or you just don't tunnel them. But the other way this can be used is terrifying. So, off the record, fucking why? Just why? I don't know why they thought... No, not why, actually. Bad change. Just bad change. I know what they were trying to do. It's just they haven't done it particularly well. As long as endurance goes away when you're healed, then this is a good change, because this makes off the record viable. But right now, no, just absolutely fucking not. Okay, Lucky Break. Right, this is one of the best perks in the game, and everyone sleeps on it. This is one of the best perks in the game, and everyone fucking sleeps on it. And because everybody sleeps on it, they fucking buffed it. So congratulations, everybody. No, this is really good for escaping chases. It deletes your scratch marks and your pulse of blood. All you have to do with Lucky Break is take a hit, break line of sight, and immediately start healing yourself behind a barrel or something with a green medkit and bite the bullet. And you've just, you know, you just escape the kill for free, essentially. And you still have most of your lucky break left because a green medkit can heal you so quickly. And add this on with botany knowledge's speed boost and item efficiency, and you've got an absolute nightmare on your hands. But now they've made it so you can bring back lucky breaks duration by healing survivors. So every second that you spend healing other survivors, you get some lucky break duration back. Now, ultimately, I think the change itself is fine. I'm a bit worried about what will happen if survivors realize how good this is, but I'm going to say it is a good change, tentatively. No, I'm going to say it's okay, actually. I'm going to say it's okay. It's an okay change, because I don't really think this perk needed a buff, but it is a fine buff. Like, healing survivors, you know, to get lucky break back, I think it's a fine way to get lucky break back. So I think it's an okay change, but I don't think it was really necessary, because lucky break was already one of the best perks in the game. Okay, pharmacy. Now, I'm a bit confused as to how this works, this one, because now pharmacy will activate whenever you're injured, guaranteeing an emergency medkit when you search your chest. So this will not happen, you know, only once per trial, like it does now. But the effect can happen multiple times in one trial. Good luck stealing my medkit now, Meg. Like, does this give you a green medkit if you rummage? Is it if you search a chest or if you rummage? Because, like, the difference there is rummaging works when a chest has already been searched. If this perk activates when you get injured, and you don't get injured until, you know, 2 gens are left, all the chests might have already been searched by an ace with, you know, a chest perk, with a chest perk build. Like, is this rummaging or is it searching? If it's rummaging, it's perfect. If it's not, then I'd say it's good. So I'm a bit unsure as to where to put this, but I'm going to say that I'm going to put it there. I'm going to put it there because it is a good change. It is a good change that you can use multiple times per trial. But if it's rummaging, then it's really good. If it's just searching, then it's a bit weaker. But I'm going to tentatively put it in perfect. Soul Survivor. So it's basically exactly what I suggested. They've buffed its effects so that it increases generator repair speed by 75% and your exit gate and hatch opening speed by 50%. It, you know, gives you a better boost when you're the final survivor, in addition to adding your aura. So they kept its original effect and gave it some other boosts. I doubt anyone will use it, but it is a good change. It does give Soul Survivor more of a reason to exist in the game, so it's fair. Distortion, absolutely perfect. Couldn't have hoped for more of a change from Distortion. That is dead on. You now gain 1 token for every 30 seconds spent within the killer's terror radius. Ideal. Perfect. Love it. Nothing more to say about that. You can gain Distortion tokens by hiding in the killer's terror radius. Beautiful. Love it. So, lightweight. I always forget this perk exists, but always forget it exists, but sure, okay. Lightweight. Your scratch marks will fade 5 seconds faster, and your scratch marks will be more sporadic. So this will make you super hard to track. Now, I'm kind of worried about this perk, because based on, like, how sporadic they make those scratch marks is very important, because scratch marks are already a nightmare to follow, and especially on the new map, where certain parts of the floor design make it look like scratch marks. And there are certain maps where you just can't see scratch marks sometimes because they're so hidden. Like, I'm a bit worried that if this perk makes them really sporadic, then it'll be virtually impossible to track survivors on certain maps. And the fact that they'll fade 5 seconds sooner, that is a lot. Because I'm pretty sure scratch marks only last, like, 6 seconds? Or something like that. They don't last very long. Like, if you've ever used them self-aware, you know, scratch marks disappear pretty darn fast. I'm scared about this one. I'm honestly scared about this one. I'll need to see it in effect to actually see how it works, but I think this is too much. I think this could be really, really annoying. But yeah, Deja Vu! Hey! Another one of my favourite perks. Deja Vu. I fucking love Deja Vu. And they've given it a buff. You now get a 5% repair speed bonus to the reveal generators. You know, fine. Perfect. I'm going to say it's perfect because Deja Vu was already good. This is just a nice boost. 5% isn't much. It's just a nice little boost I'm hoping it will make people realise how fucking good Deja Vu is. And that's all I can really hope for. So, No One Left Behind. Beyond its current effects, No One Left Behind will grant a 7% movement speed bonus to any survivor you unhook. So now, a survivor you unhook with No One Left Behind will get a 14% speed boost. The perk now activates when the exit gates are powered rather than open. Perfect. This might actually make No One Left Behind viable. Because a 14% speed boost when you unhook a survivor, that's significant. Even if it's only 5 seconds, that's significant. And if you use borrowed time with this and extend that by an extra 10 seconds, Jesus. This is actually pretty good. I don't think it goes too far either, because the survivor, it's become an end game anti-tunnel perk, and you know, I think that's good. This I think might be a bit of a dark horse. I think this actually might be a sleeper. I've not seen anyone talk about how good this could potentially be. Like, this could give you some really good information. So what they've done with Dark Sense is the next time the killer comes within 24 meters of you, once a generator has been completed, I phrased that terribly, so when a generator is completed, Dark Sense activates. The next time the killer comes within 24 meters of you, their aura is revealed for 10 seconds. So the killer comes within 24 meters of you, you get a warning that they're coming to you. This can only happen a max of 5 times per game, but I think it's a really good effect. You get 10 seconds of aura reading on the killer when they come within 24 meters of you. This can give you time to get to a decent loop. You know, if they're coming at you really quick, like a blight, this might actually give you some, you know, insight into what mind game they're doing. You know, it can help you, like, early on in the chase. I think this is really good. I think they've made this actually a dark horse, and I think it's actually really good. I think it's a perfect change. I think it's really good. It's a nice perk without being oppressive. I think it's great. Tenacity. So Tenacity now reduces your grunts of pain by 75% when you're in the dying state. Combined with the increased crawling speed, this perk will now be much more effective in crawling away from the killer. I think this is solid. It's a good change. It's not perfect, but I think it's good. You know, your grunts of pain are reduced by 75%. You get on the floor new Iron Will, essentially. And I think that's alright. It counters slugging. It just makes it more powerful in what it already did. So, yeah, fine. Hope, perfect. Absolutely flawless. Absolutely flawless change. Absolutely fucking perfect. So, they've removed its duration. It doesn't have a duration. So, once you get to endgame, you have a 7% speed boost. That is just how it works now. You have a 7% speed boost in endgame that never runs out. So, you get that once the last generator is completed, and you're speedy for the rest of the game. Like, imagine you get hooked with Hope at the end game, and you're on the hook. You get saved, you know, with the 7% speed boost you get when you get off the hook. The person also has No One Left Behind. You're running at 121% movement speed. So fun. I fucking love it. I love Hope. It's going to be absolute chaos, and it's going to be great. I think Hope might find its way. It's been lingering on the edge of the meta for a long time, and I think this might push it into it, and I love that, because I fucking love Hope. I never run it, because I'm bad and I never make it to endgame, but I love that it's getting a buff. I love that. I think it's so fun. Okay, so Overzealous. Fucking brand new. Came out like a couple of weeks ago. But what they're doing to it now is, what it does at the moment is you cleanse a totem and it grants you an 8% repair speed bonus to generator repair. But now it will give you a 16% bonus if the totem you cleanse is a hex. I think this is pretty good. I don't know how it'll act in, you know, practice, but I think it's all right. I don't want to say it's perfect, but I think it's all right. Perks that affect generator repair are always a bit dodgy. Like, I think Deja Vu's 5% is basically as far as they should ever go. But I think Overzealous is pretty fair, because the killer is at most going to have, Well, not at most, because with Pentimento you can have fucking loads. But mostly it's 1 or 2. 1 or 2 is pretty standard. So you can only get this like 1 or 2 times a game, and you lose it when you lose a health state. So I think it's fair. I think it's a good change. I think it's fair. Right, we're gonna live forever. They did some weird things to this perk. So I'm fine with them removing the Bloodpoint bonus. Like, let's just get right on with that. I'm fine with them removing the Bloodpoint bonus. I'm a bit apprehensive about it because, like, I'm fine with it, but I'm a bit apprehensive about it because just survivors get so fewer blood points than killer. Like, I'm 100% fine with them removing the Bloodpoint bonus from barbecue. But with We're Gonna Live Forever, like, this was basically survivors' only chance to get decent amount of blood points. Like, I'm fine with it because they've reduced the grind a lot, but I'm a bit less happy with it than I am with the barbecue change. But ultimately, I think it's fine. Alright, what they've also done with it is that when you take a hit or a flashlight save or unhook somebody, it will now activate the perk's secondary effect. So while active, healing a survivor from the dying state grants them endurance for 10 seconds. The secondary effect of We're Gonna Live Forever then deactivates. So you get an unhook, you go and pick up a slug, and they have Soul Guard. Essentially. So I think that this is okay. No, it's good. It's good. I was going to say okay, but I think it's good. It gives We're Gonna Live Forever a nice little bonus. I think I am a little bit upset about its Bloodpoint bonus being removed. I am a little bit upset about that just because I think survivors have so few opportunities to get, good amounts of blood points. But ultimately, I'm going to say that it is a good change. It is a good change because, you need to get a perk like that out of the meta just for to get blood points. And ultimately, I think they have reduced the grind enough with the changes to the progression system. But yeah, I think that is my finished tier list for what I feel about the changes that they've announced. It looks very top heavy, doesn't it? It looks very top heavy. I am happy with the majority of these perk changes. The only ones I think are bad are Iron Will, Ruin, Knockout, SelfCare, Botany, Off the Record, Lightweight, and then Spine Chill, Thanner, and Calm Spirit. Just why? Ignore these two. They're not supposed to be here. But yeah, I don't understand these 3 at all. Like, I don't know why this needed a buff. What did they do with it? Were they drunk? And this one is useless. It's entirely fucking useless. This has no use anymore. But yeah, that's what I think of the perk changes in the developer update for June 2022. I am, regardless of anything I've put in bad or why, I am so fucking excited for this change. Oh my god. I really hope they do more updates like this because I just want to see. I want to see this more in the game. I want to see them just play with stuff and just see what happens. Like, I think Off the Record is a bad change, but I'm so glad they've done something like that. Just to test, just to see how it works. Like, your game will flourish if you try things, experiment. If something's a mess, you can just delete it. Like, just kill switch it, fix it, put it back in the game. It's fine. You're not going to, destroy your game with one bad perk, especially with, kill switch existing. You can just turn it off. I want to see them more. I want to see them do it more often. Just tinker, play with stuff. Yeah, it'll be awesome. I'm really excited. So yeah, that was my view on the perks that they are changing. Lots of perfect and good. I'm very excited. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will not be streaming for a while because I'm still recovering from COVID. I'm spending most of my time lying down and not really doing anything because I have virtually no energy. I am feeling a bit better. I think I am on the mend, but I need more rest, and I think I've been overworking myself because, I love my job. But I think I do need to take a rest. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope to see you soon. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.